Apple generated $209.6 billion in iPhone net sales in fiscal 2025, entirely because they built a walled garden where they dictate the rules. But today, that absolute control is dragging them into courtrooms. And a massive AI rollout threatens to fracture their biggest asset. Before we look at the lawsuits tearing the garden down, we have to look at the dirt it was built on. Because Apple didn't invent the smartphone from thin air. Apple didn't just stumble into the smartphone market with a perfect idea. Back in September 2005, they partnered with Motorola and Singular to launch the ROKR. It was a clunky, carrier-controlled candy bar phone with iTunes awkwardly bolted on. It was a mess. It taught Apple a crucial lesson. Bolting your software onto someone else's hardware is a losing game. So they scrapped the carrier partnerships. Instead, they looked at a secret multi-touch tablet project they had been testing internally. They shrunk that tablet down. No plastic keyboard, no carrier-controlled menus, just a piece of glass that reacted to your fingers. On January 9th, 2007, they unveiled the first iPhone. They pitched it as three things: a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator. They priced the debut models at a premium, $499 for 4 gigabytes and $599 for 8. And distribution was locked down tight. You could only buy one through Apple directly or via an exclusive deal with Singular AT&T. The bet worked! They sold 1 million units in 74 days! But there was a massive catch to that early momentum. That first phone? It didn't have 3G internet. It didn't even have an app store. It was just a really nice gadget inside a locked box. The real turning point didn't happen until July 2008, when they knocked down a wall and opened the App Store with 500 apps. But this is the exact moment the iPhone went from a popular gadget to an absolute profit monster. Because users downloaded more than 10 million apps that first weekend alone, and iPhone 3G sales topped 1 million units in the same window. This is the exact moment the iPhone stopped being a device and became a platform. And platforms make entirely different money. Think of the App Store like a highly guarded toll bridge. Outside, developers build the cars, users drive them, and Apple takes a cut of the traffic. Usually, they take a 15% commission for small businesses and higher for big ones. It's like a mall owner taking a slice of every single store's sales. The sheer scale of this model shows up vividly in Apple's fiscal 2025 numbers. Moving the physical iPhone hardware still anchors the entire company, hauling in a massive $209.6 billion in net sales. But the gross margin on overall products is only 36.8%. The services layer, apps, ads, cloud, is much more lucrative, running at a 75.4% gross margin. You buy the phone once, but you pay the toll bridge every day. And leaving means losing your apps, your iCloud backups, and your blue text bubbles. That friction isn't an accident. It's the ecosystem trap. It forces people to just stay inside the walls and upgrade their hardware when it gets old. By 2014, competitors were pushing out phones with massive screens. So Apple adapted and finally went big with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. They sold over 10 million units that first weekend alone. It triggered a massive wave of upgrades, pushing average selling prices up 11%. They announced their 1 billionth iPhone sold by 2016. But the deeper the moat got, the more aggressive the backlash became. In 2012, they replaced Google Maps with their own Maps app. It was so full of errors that Tim Cook had to publicly apologize for it. Then came Batterygate. Apple admitted software updates were quietly slowing down older iPhones to save power and prevent unexpected shutdowns, sparking huge outrage. They ended up agreeing to pay up to $500 million to settle US litigation over it. Public trust was taking real hits, but a bad map or a battery settlement doesn't break a monopoly. What breaks an ecosystem is the government. In 2024, the US DOJ sued Apple, alleging they actively used their ecosystem rules to lock out competitors and block all-in-one super apps. A judge kept that case alive in 2025. Meanwhile, Epic Games fought them over in-app payments, leading to a massive contempt ruling against Apple. But this isn't just a distant legal threat. The fortress is actually taking damage. Over in Europe, regulators didn't just investigate. They fined Apple 500 million euros for anti-steering rules. They even forced Apple to abandon its signature Lightning cable entirely, pushing the iPhone 15 lineup to adopt standard USB-C chargers. For the first time, external forces are dictating how Apple's hardware and software are actually allowed to function. Apple isn't just watching this happen. They are aggressively shifting more manufacturing toward India to reduce their exposure. And in early 2025, they dropped their first custom C1 modem into the iPhone 16e, trimming their reliance on external suppliers like Qualcomm. And in China, the competition is brutal. Local brands pushed Apple's sales to a multi-year low in 2024, though they did bounce back a quick 20% by early 2026. So how does Apple fight back against regulators and rivals? They are betting everything on Apple Intelligence. In 2024, they announced a huge leap into AI. The goal was to make on-device assistance so seamless you couldn't live without it. But there is a massive catch. Apple Intelligence mostly requires newer hardware, specifically the iPhone 15 Pro, or the 16 line and beyond. Analyst estimates show more than 850 million active iPhones simply cannot run basic Apple Intelligence queries. Worse, analyst estimates show more than 1.3 billion devices can't run the advanced version of Siri they teased for 2026. That creates a dangerous fragmentation risk. Half their users might feel left behind, while some AI features are outright delayed or blocked in the EU and China. Which brings us back to the contradiction that completely defines Apple today. The iPhone is a massive profit engine, built entirely on absolute, seamless integration. For the better part of 15 years, the proposition was brilliantly simple. If you shelled out for the premium hardware, you unlocked the absolute best of the Apple ecosystem by default. It just worked. You didn't have to think about what chip was inside, or what country's rules applied to your text messages. Now, regulators are aggressively prying the App Store open, piece by piece. And the AI revolution demands hardware that most of their own loyal users don't even own yet. The very moat that kept competitors out is starting to look like a wall blocking their own users. Can Apple force a massive upgrade cycle fast enough to outrun the control they are losing in court? That's the real bet, because closed ecosystems are incredibly sticky. But nobody stays on a toll bridge forever if the newest destinations are blocked off. The iPhone won't die overnight. But for the first time in history, Apple isn't the one holding all the keys to the gates.